Thank you very much, Peter. And I want to greet everyone listening. I appreciate this forum. I appreciate everyone who is there. My name is Okhiria. I'm from Ogwa. I live in Nigeria and also live in Canada. Currently, I'm in Canada. Like you said, I am a practicing journalist. I also run an NGO in Nigeria, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development. We promote good governance. Beyond that, I'm also grassrooted. I go home like it is the backyard. I'm in Esanland almost all the time, except in the last 1 year when security situations have heightened and all of us ran away. And we decided to be living in Abuja, and I jumped from Canada to Abuja or fly to Benin before going to Esanland. I really want to put the international dimension to this problem. Yes, Uromi, Ogwa, Iroa, Ebele, Okalo, Igwebe, Ekpoma, everybody in Esanland, Ewohimi, Uzia Ubiaja. We have very, very, very small limitations as to what we can do all alone. I had a very long discussion with Peter this morning when I saw this invitation, and we talked about the need for synergy, not just within the Uromi area. When the Uromi women were out, I guess the women in my community in Ogwa will also have reasons to also be out. I just imagined if that synergy of coming out to protest had happened in the whole of Esanland, what that kind of message would have sent to everybody in Nigeria. Yes, it was loud. We saw it. We saw it everywhere. It was very fine, and everybody saw how the Uromi women came out. But imagine if there was a better organized protest that would have taken every woman in Esanland on the street in their own communities and have a resounding, more resounding message that will go out to everybody that the Esanland are in grief over what has been happening around. I guess would have gotten more salutary results than what we are getting. Even from the massive result we are getting in Uromi, from what we are seeing, I would have had maybe more results. Now, my own particular experience is that I'm also a farmer. I have a palm plantation in Ogwa, and I go home. I mean, I'm just a home person. In the last 3, 4, 5 years, I can tell you that I don't have people from Esanland who go to work in the farm. And you can go and compare, go and ask people who have farms, who have big farms, who are actually into commercial agriculture. They don't see our people to go to the farm. Well, it is not as if we don't see our people to go to the farm. It's not attractive for our people to go to the farm. So who do we use? Because I heard somebody succinctly making the point just now that we should be able to disaggregate. We should be able to separate the whips from the chaffs. We should be able to say who is a Fulani man, who is not a Fulani man. Now, in Ogwa, where I come from, I'm not far away from Okalo. Okalo recently, they had sleepless nights for over 2 weeks. I can tell you the manager of my farm is from Okalo. He had to move his family from Okalo to Ogwa, to my house, because their women were raped in the forest. Of course, you know that Okalo has boundaries with the forests of Ubiaja, with Igwebe, and all those forests around, all those Ugboha and all those areas there. Now, it is not a problem that is limited to one community. It is not a problem that is limited to one particular clan. It's a problem that the entire country and even the subcontinent is facing, and we are just the footstool of whoever is operating. And if they find you comfortable, they will come and stay in that place. I also want to borrow from what I heard just now from one of the contributors, that it is not negotiable. It's not something we are going to be negotiating. They should get out of our land. And probably when we get to the issues of talking, when we go offline and begin to talk about the solutions, some of us have radical suggestions on what can be done. And it is not easy to move. It is not difficult to also mobilize funds for these things. It's just the will. And if we are ready to work, if we are ready to have a sincerity of purpose, if the Esan people are united, we can save our people. We can have something to do to make it unattractive for Fulanis or indeed any Marauder, any of those troublesome people to find our place comfortable to stay. If we make Esanland comfortable for them, they will run away from where they are driven. Now come to our land to stay. That is why we must put on our guards and be sure that we mobilize our people around. And it is not just one limited community. If we work in isolation of other communities, we cannot fight it. So in the course of maybe deliberating on solutions, some of us have templates that we can put on ground to say, look, this is how to go about it. But generally speaking, from my own personal experience, the problem is a bad problem. We have a bad situation in our hand, very, very bad, and it's not limited to Esanland. It's something that is all over the West Africa sub-region. It's all over Nigeria, and they are coming down to places where they can find comfortable to work. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say something about farming and what the Boko Haram or the Herdsmen or whatever you call them, according to one of the retired security officer that I listened to, I watched on the channels, he said they were Boko Haram. Whether you like it or not, they were Boko Haram. But so what they have done to us, I'm a son to a farmer, a very successful farmer before he died. And I will tell you that everything we have in our family came from the farm. In the 70s, my dad started paying school fees to my eldest brother in America. Every one of us that grew up in our house grew up with money from the farm. But today, nobody goes to that farm. It's just there. Thanks to the herdsmen, they call them. But we should call them who they are. They are Boko Haram. So I think when I ask them at home, when I call Nigeria and I ask them, is anybody going to see our plantations and every other things that we have in our farms? They say no, nobody goes anymore because they are afraid to go there. That is the reality of life in the south, in the southern part of Nigeria, in Edo State, and in Esanland today. Nobody, like Igine said, and like Owan said, Owan Reverend Father John Bosco said, people don't go to the farm anymore. And when they don't do that, and we have a government who does not care about the people, like he said, all we are going to get is hunger and criminality. So this is what we are facing. For people who do not know, we are doing this first and foremost for people to know what we are facing. That children do not have futures anymore. Women, widows who depends on the farm, on the produce from the farm, do not have money to feed their children. They cannot go to school. They cannot learn work. So at the end of the day, in the South, what are we going to get? Apart from the desecration of our land, of our culture and tradition, the killings, the hunger, what are we then? They are then breeding criminality, because when children are not able to do anything, they look for something to do. And that again means that children growing up that ordinarily would have had money from their parents, their mother, their brothers, they don't get nothing anymore. So if you are not careful, they start looking for people to steal from. It's a lot of problems. So the question is, for some of us who are out of our community, we are fortunate to live abroad. What do we do about this? How do we support people who are trying to do their best to bring a solution to these problems? These are some of the things that we are going to be talking about.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. Waobulu Mare Money issue, and it's a critical issue in the sense that there is no meaningful development that can take place in Esanland if we don't speak out and do something now. My name is Bosse Ironsi. I'm from Uromi, but married to Igbo. But I want to say that I run a non-governmental organization that speaks to women and children in terms of development. Some years before now, mainly my program Brevi, Eastern Northeast, Eastern Central, and Eastern West. We were there. I brought an international organization that was working there for whole 5 years. We were the Abami community in Mevana, Meyi, Uzea, Meyi, Abami Mevana. There was freedom. So early last year, or towards mid last year, another organization called me to say, Madam Bosse, where can you work? I said, I want to go back to Edo State. That's my motherland. That's where I am from. I said, I want to go back. So, but what do we find? One of our principles is to identify areas that really needs this. I may not discover that most of these international, like EU, so many organizations, they are stationed in Benin City. It is difficult for you to see a very, very active, with a hard voice towards Esanland. So I did a lot of survey, and it was obvious that that's where we should go. But what do I find? I sent one of my staff, Noah Esandodo, identify key stakeholders, on her way back in one of the journey. She was seeing kidnapping in front, and they were lucky that the car was able to escape. And so we have to cancel that project. And that project, it's a very unique project that would have taken us further, especially addressing the issues about abuse of girls and women. But that is not going to be possible now, because the people who are funding me are telling me, we want to see you alive instead of you taking that risk. So what am I saying precisely? Beyond our farmland, beyond our women that are being raped and all that, which is very, 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 very critical. Meaningful development cannot go there. The reason why most of the people that died trying to cross to other countries, like going to Italy, Germany, and all that, dying in the Mediterranean Sea, they were mostly Eastern children. They were mostly Eastern boys, Eastern women. I did a lot of survey. I did a documentary on that, and it hurts. Now they have left their agent mother, parents in the village. They can't go to farm, and there are no meaningful industry. No meaningful industry in Esanland. We have been neglected for years. And now here we are. The only resources we have, and which is that farmland, like Peter said, that was what our parents sent children to school.